There is Sophie Borgstrom. You can see the rollers that we were talking about. Having to play pretty smart timing here, particularly on that double red that you saw Sophie just turn on. They're having to play the timing on that so that roller gets out of the way before they crank into that turn. Krista Uzar back aboard, but that cost her a lot of positions. So your top five: Emanelli Ortendahl, Yasmine Epraus, Jana Borgstrom for third, Estelle Perez fourth, Sophie Borgstrom for fifth, Jessica Chavon sixth, and Krista Uzar is going to be seventh place. Hey, just a couple of shout outs on the live stream. Thank you guys for joining us. I see Jean Navarro and Lisa Dermott joined. Good to have you here. Brees. Hello, JJ. Vicki Gregory here. Cole Kramer has joined us. Sandus Lob has joined us saying go Krista. Scott Benson's joined us. Mike Furman. I see Marta Sorrentino Perez on the live stream. Big hugs to you, Marta. David Sola shouting out for Estelle. Jeremy Poper. And we got our shot here of the ladies as they come in, and we get the boats back in, and you can see those waves cranking up onto shore. Looking at about 3 meters on that tide. I shot out some pictures earlier today just so you could get a chance to see what it was like around 9 o'clock this morning. All of the buoys that were right on this front row, first couple of rows, were on the beach. And that is typical of the tide conditions for Qingdao, China every morning. We have high tide around 3:30 this afternoon, which is just about perfect. So here's going to be the lineup today. You've just got through watching the very first moto of Women's Ski GP. Men's Ski GP is going to be coming at us next. That's going to be their first moto. And then we're going to be having the qualifying for the Runabout class. This is going to be the first qualifying session for the Runabout class. A little bit of a recap from yesterday. In the qualifier, we changed that up. Now, in the past, when you watched in Italy, we actually determined where they were going to be on the line based on their times in previous competitions. But yesterday, we shook it up a bit, and we decided to do, because of these tide conditions, we decided to do qualifiers, and that was 8 minutes to heaven. 8 minutes plus 1 lap for both Ski GP men and for the women. And you can see Emanelli Ortendahl just letting that all soak in. She had a great run yesterday. She took the win. And Krista Uzar, who actually had the whole shot yesterday, and she also had gotten the pole position. They had a random drawing, and then after the random drawing, they were able to pick where they were going to be on the line. And it was Estelle Perez and Krista Uzar, actually. Estelle Perez was on the outside pole position, and then Yasmine Epraus actually had the pole position on the inside. Yasmine, however, like I said, with some boat problems, and ended up gotten tangled up with one of the riders. Had a bit of a tough time. She ended up in 9th place in the qualifying yesterday. Not a problem for her today, though. Yasmine Epraus came back strong, got a second. So again, winning the qualifier yesterday in her first moto, Emanelli Ortendahl. And a big congratulations to Krista Uzar, back in the saddle. It's great to have her back after that broken ankle. Pretty severe injury for Krista, and we had the opportunity to catch up with her. We will be doing some interviews, hopefully, depending how quickly we can get these guys up here. Again, we are working against the tide. A little bit of a recap on yesterday's qualifying for the men's class. Kevin Rederer with the whole shot. He was lined up right in the middle of the group, and I would say one of the worst places that you typically have to be is if you're on the outside of the inside split. And Stian Schwettlein, that's exactly where he had to line up yesterday. If that did not slow him down, he ended up with a second in qualifying yesterday. Ulrich Bernsen, another Norwegian rider, was in third. And Dan Anderson who's currently second overall in the points, was fourth yesterday. Barnabas Zabo was in fifth. And that's how it looked today. Now, based on that, they got to pick where they were going to be on the line, and I will get you how that looked in just a minute. They got the opportunity to pick that, and let's just go take a look and see. By the way, Kevin Redderer is the only rider that's got the opportunity this weekend to do a shutout. If he puts 22 more points between himself and the rest of the pack, he will have locked down the World Championship Tour for 2019. By the way, Ulrich Berndsen has the pole position on the outside. You can see Dan Anderson, it looks like he's third in. And Stian Schwettlein is second on that inside. And it looks like Kevin is on the pole position on the inside split. However, looks like they're trying to get Kevin's boat out of the water. Not sure if they need to check something or if they had a little water in that hole or what, but currently we are on a hold while the current points leader and gentleman wearing the red bib goes to grab that ski lift to see if they can get the boat out of the water. Again, the Victory Team rider, this is not a good situation when you have to open up the hood while all the other riders are out there on the line. As I mentioned earlier, he's got 147 points. Gentleman next to him is Dan Anderson with 94 points coming into this round, and Barnabas Zabo in third with 89 points. That's how your point standings are set up. Axel Courtois is in fourth with 87 points, only 2 points separating him from that podium. And Anders Keller from Denmark right in the hunt. He's got 82 points. So this is any man's game. And you can see Håkan Borgström down there helping him. Meanwhile, what they're going to do is give the riders an opportunity to practice the start as they did with the women's ski. But that does mean that time is running out for Kevin Redderer. So what you're seeing here on that screen at the top of the screen is the GP men's ski getting a chance to practice that start, and you can see just how deep that start goes back into the Yellow Sea. That is a long, long start. Wow. Not a good situation. Still not starting. You can see Kevin trying to get that boat firing, and I still don't see a fire on it. Meanwhile, we are hanging out in Qingdao, China, home of the famous Qingdao beer, also known as the Sailing City. Just a quick trivia. Qingdao hosted the sailing events for the 2008 Olympics, and Beijing is going to be host to the 2022 Summer Olympics. Rich sporting history, a beautiful seaport. Qingdao was named China's most livable city. All right, gentlemen, that's got the pole position and won the qualifier yesterday is still on the beach. Tense moments for the Victory Team as the boats come back to the lineup. Not how you want to start your first moto. Ton of people jumping into the stream. Sandis Lob saying that Krista keeps on fighting, maybe not in best physical shape, but definitely with toughest character. Couldn't agree more. Sandis, like I said, we got a chance to catch up with her yesterday. Don't forget, she's rehabbing a pretty tricky injury. That was a big ankle injury that she had. She broke that ankle. It was a couple of breaks. So that is a long road, and it's only a few months. So she had every intention of coming back on the China stop, and she is, in fact, on her boat this weekend. So a big shout-out to Krista Uzard. She had a great run. She had a hole shot yesterday and led the race, the qualifying, and then came out of the pocket today in 4th place. So she definitely is making a strong comeback. I see Julian Osborne signed on. It's good to have you. Frederick Karat. Barry Gibson here. Chayon Singharai from Thailand, very well-known rider from Thailand. Philip Salabir has joined us. Good to have you. Sung Bin Kim. And Morgan Prey has also jumped onto the live feed. Morgan, your sis, Estelle, did great today. Estelle ended up in 4th place. All right, so here's the good news. We've got the guys started, and Kevin Redder has got that boat running. And they are off. Not the fastest start I've ever seen from Kevin Redder, but respectable nevertheless. Salman Alawadi, however, flew out of that start. And good news, bad news, Stian Schvetline had a great start, but unfortunately he's currently off his boat. And it looks like Ulrich Bernsen also having to get a quick lift. That was some of your top 3 from yesterday's qualifying. Meanwhile, on the inside split, I've got Kevin Redder with the hole shot. And Dan Anderson on the outside has got the hole shot. Salman Alawadi with that fantastic timing off of the beach is in 2nd place, coming out of that split section as they begin the merge. And Dan Anderson just barely peeled over that wave. Salman Alawadi in 2nd. Dan Anderson in 3rd. Anders in 5th. Barnabas Zabo in 4th. Actually, it's Andrea Guidi, 4th place. Boat number 13. Great to have him back. That is none other than Nacho Armias. Nacho out after a 2-year hiatus. Great to have him back, and he's aboard the SDC boat that Kylie Elmers had put together and had been racing on this tour this year. Nacho, of course, from Spain, and that was a long time coming back, but great to have him here. I see Ulrich Bernsen up on the beach, so they're going to have to get him pulled out of the water. Tough break for the gentleman from Norway. Bernsen finishing yesterday in that qualifier. Dan Anderson's currently in 2nd place with 94 points. He had a 2.32 finish in Portimao. In Olbia, not as great of a finishes, but most of that was engine related. 10, 17, and 6 for his finishes in Olbia. Plenty of points to put him up into that 2nd place spot. That's where Dan Anderson is currently sitting. Meanwhile, Kevin Redder, your current points leader. And the gentleman that is also your defending world champion. He came into the end of last season with 170 points, 33-point lead, 6 wins out of 7 motos. 3 podiums. His best finish last year was Olbia and Sharjah with those back-to-back wins. is looking solid out on the track today, and man, he has had almost a perfect season this year. 3 aces in Portimao and a deuce and 2 more aces in Olbia for his finishes, and Nacho Armias on that 13 boat. And then you just saw at the top of the screen, these guys are popping hard out of the water with these waves coming at them sideways. You can see what I'm talking about. Those rollers are starting to set up with some pretty nice faces on them. 2.5 feet for those guys. That's Salman Alawadi on boat number 7. Salman, only 18 years old. He had a pretty hot start at the beginning at 8:11:13 in Portimao, but had 2 DNSs in the Olbia run, so he is going to be the spoiler this afternoon. He's currently tied for 17th on this tour. Kevin Redmer on that victory boat, already over on the left-hand side of this track. We are 5 minutes in to a 15-minute plus 1 lap moto. Kevin Redmer with a 3:42.70 as his current lap time. Salman Alawadi with a 3:55.05, and Dan Anderson with a 3:57.78. Andrea Guidi with a 4:02.69, and Marcus Lutzikert has moved up into 5th with a 4:08.79. And Wang Chao Wei in 6th place with a 4:12.01. The best placement thus far for our Chinese riders. Wang Chao Wei in that 6th place spot. He is a gentleman that got a 2nd place on one of the top international events last year. He's been racing for 9 years. He's 22 years old. Also had the opportunity to participate last year in the Asian Games. The gentleman is currently running in 6th. Kevin Redmer from Austria. Wow, just popped about 2.5, 3 feet in the air over that wave. No problem. All right, the course setup that you're looking at, they're currently navigating the right-hand side of the track. Salman Alawadi is coming through the double white buoys, and then he's going to take that quick dog leg back out to a triple right-hand turn. That's pretty darn technical. That dog leg puts him square into the center face of these waves. Salman Alawadi has got a lot of competition and a rider down on the front stretch, and that was Anders Keller, who's having to make a dash for it. Keller is in the hunt. As I said earlier, he's got 82 points. He's currently in 5th. That is not what he wanted to happen. He had a really good run going on this first moto. You're watching moto number 1 for Men's Ski GP1. This is the Hare Grand Prix of Qingdao, China. Don't forget to join us live on the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour live feed. Just go to aquabike.net. Hunt continues between Salman Alawadi and Dan Anderson. I see some of the technical directors having some entertainment as we watch a lot of these riders handling these waves. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 pretty technical sections, and one of them is that 90-degree left-hand turn right off of the front stretch. You have to go right back into the waves, and it's that final portion before they come up onto the beach. And the waves are setting up with some pretty steep faces. And when you got long, shallow beaches like this, which is the conditions that we're dealing with, it can create some pretty gnarly surf conditions and very tight surf, so these waves are pretty close together as well. Nice turn for Dan Anderson, working his way through that inside split, and he is on the hunt to get around Salman Alawadi, and he is right in his back pocket as they come into that triple right-hand turn, and Anderson trying to shut the door on Salman, and he might have done it coming out of that. Great run for the gentleman currently in this points hunt. He is in second place, and he is now in second out on the track. Salman Alawadi, not one to give up. He is keeping the pressure on Dan Anderson. Meanwhile, Andrea Guidi sitting comfortable back there with about a 10-second deficit in that fourth place spot. Marcus Lutzekert on the Parts of Parts boat. Looking solid out there as well. Lutzekert's currently in fifth. His fastest time is 2:44.37. Great run for a gentleman who had to use Parts of Parts. So that's part Yasmin Eprouse's boat and part Marcus Lutzekert boat. But combined, both of them doing pretty darn good. He's in the top five. Redder, meanwhile, leading his fastest time at 2:33.36. Dan Anderson with a 2:41.59. And Salman Alawadi, his fastest time at 2:42.21. Andrea Guidi with a 2:43.56. That's your top four. Overcast conditions, they were looking to have 22 degrees today. I'm not sure we actually saw it get that warm. Translating to about 70 degrees. Much better than yesterday, however, where we had massive overcast skies, high winds, and a lot of rain overnight. Nothing to stop the action. Meanwhile, typhoon has been shaping up over Japan and had looked originally like it might drift a little bit into Korea. I'm not sure yet if it will do so, but again, don't forget Korea off on our horizon. So that's the only thing hopefully stopping the typhoon from hitting us, so pretty sure we're safe right now. Again, you're watching the action for the Hair Grand Prix of Qingdao, China. Men's ski, and that is Andrea Guidi that you see at the top of the screen on boat number 26. He had pretty good placement today. He was on the outside of the outside split, just 3 in on that starting grid, and that put him into a good place for a nice hole shot. He got fourth on that first moto and that first lap, and hasn't moved back yet. Meanwhile, the crew getting antsy down there on the beach because Dan Anderson is racing a great race this weekend, and he needs the points. Again, having come in here in second, we've got Kevin Redder with a 55-point lead. Dan Anderson with 94, but it is very tight between him and Barnabas Szabo. Only 5 points separating those two. Let's look at where they are on the board. Dan Anderson is in second, and Szabo back in ninth. With that new point system this year, which I must say I'm in love with, it does keep these competitors pretty close together. When you take a look at the points, first place is going to get 25 points, second's only going to get 22 points, third's 20 points, fourth is 18, fifth is 16, and so on. Andrea Guidi on boat 26. Andrea Guidi is tied for 13th. He had a 9th on the Euro Pinafeel stop this year. He had a 12th in Zagreb on the Euro stop in 2019, and he got a 7th also in Ski GP2 on the Euro Zagreb. Out of the podium shot right now unless something crazy happens. But a great run for him. let me get you a position update. Redder leading, Dan Anderson second, Alawadi third, Guidi in fourth, Lutz occurred in fifth, Courtois in sixth, Armias is up in seventh, Xiao Wei is in eighth, Szabo in ninth, and Stian Schwettlein after a tough dismount on the start in 10th. Anders Keller, after also a dismount on that last lap, is in 11th. Slaven Vivancic is in 12th. Martin Semeji, who's filling in, is in 13th. And we have 14 minutes on the clock, 1 minute more to go, plus a lap for our 15-minute moto. And this is moto number 1. Hey, Jerry Wong. Good to have you joining us on the live stream. Mateo Fracasso also on the live stream. Aren't you supposed to be getting ready, sir? So Keller, who is in 5th place, is in 5th place on the scoreboard, is in 11th currently out on the track. Remember, he did get into a tough situation a little bit earlier. Give you some of the other updates of our riders. We'll see if we can't catch with Nacho Armias, who's on 13 boat. And also get you caught up with Dan Anderson. Kevin Redder making this final couple of laps. Still leading. Boat number 95, that is Axel Courtois, who is currently in 4th on the point standing. When we take a look out on the leaderboard, he's in 6th place, fastest time with a 2:42.98 for Axel Courtois, a gentleman that is in a very tight battle. He's got 87 points. Barnabas Szabo on boat number 28 has 89 points. Only 2 points separating these guys for that podium position, so pretty tight battle for these points. And that is your buddy from Spain, Nacho Armias, on boat number 13. Nacho in 7th place out on the track. White flag is up for Kevin Redder. With a massive leg fracture. He went through more than 4 surgeries before getting all that straightened out, and he is back after a 2.5-year hiatus, and it is so cool to have him back. But even though he wasn't racing, he was still at the UIM events over the past couple of years and helping bring on some of the younger junior riders as well. So it's so cool to have him come and hang out with us, and the fact that he is back in the saddle on the track is very cool too. His current position, 7th place. Meanwhile, Dan Anderson just came through his fastest time, a 2:41.59. The fastest guy on the track right now, well, here it is, 2:33.36, and that's Kevin Redder on the final lap with 18 plus minutes on the clock. Salman Alwadi in 3rd. Andrew Guidi in 4th. Nacho Armias has moved into 5th. Two more spots picked up with riders going down. watching Kevin Redder on the outside split on this final lap. Has not put a foot wrong this season thus far. 3 wins in Portimao earlier this year in May. Followed that up in Olbia with a 2-1-1 finish. Won the qualifier yesterday and is about 200 feet from taking, well, okay, maybe more than that, 500 feet from taking the checkered flag. And Kevin Redder on the victory boat just took the win. Left-hand side of the track is what you're watching here. And you can see these guys playing smart. Coming through that final double red. That's boat number 51, Mads Koch Hansen. And I'll share where he ended up with you in just 1 minute. Boat number 88, Dan Anderson, second on the points. And if he can negotiate this last couple of buoys with no issues, he's going to be second in this moto as well. That's him dropping onto the front stretch. So Dan Anderson is going to hold on to that second place spot. You can see how rough it is. That is Salman Alawadi, who it looked like had the fastest start on this first moto, on that inside split. He timed that perfectly. Now, the way they did these starts, it was a beach start with our course marshals handed the card. They went from a red card to a green card, and the way they're supposed to time that is they come all the way down on that card before they make a move. All right, Anderson second, Alawadi in third, Nacho Armias from 7th to 4th in 1 lap. Andrea Guidi in 5th, Lutzekert in 6th, Wang Xiaowei in 7th, and Barnabas Zabo in 8th. Slaven Ivancic in 9th, and looks like Mads Hansen will be rounding out your top 10. Oh, wait, almost done. Hold on. Actually, Mads Hansen will be in... I'm still going to wait on that just to get a final. Axel Courtois moved into 9th. Slaven Ivancic in 10th. Mads looks like he's going to be in 11th. Martin Sumeji in 12th. Shuang Bo in 13th. Anders Keller 14th. Tian Zhao actually, let me give you the update. Some of these guys are just now coming in and weren't quite through with him. Redder winning, Anderson second, Alawadi third, Armias fourth, Guidi fifth, Lutzekert sixth, Xiaowei seventh, Zabo eighth, Courtois in ninth, Shetline in 10th, Ivancic 11th, Hansen 12th, Martin Sumeji 13th. And it looks like Keller's going to be 15th. There's your rundown, and that was moto number 1 for men's ski. We're just about to go to the qualifiers for the Runabout class. This is going to be the first qualifier. Yeah, Lisa, I would have to agree. That really was a great run from Nacho Armias. Mind you, now they've been training quite a bit, but regardless, that was a very impressive run by Nacho Armias. He was actually as far down as 11th coming into that first lap. And I went from 11th all the way up to 4th. So great job from the gentleman from Spain. And you can see Stian Svetline. Stian really had a great start, but then took a launch off of his boat. But for him to charge back up into 10th, also very impressive run. All right, that was your recap for your men's ski. And we're going to be going to the qualifiers up next. Now, it was a random draw at the beginning. And once they got the random draw, then they were able to pick where they wanted to be in the line. And it looks like the first person on that inside split is going to be boat number 25. I'll just take a quick look down there, make sure. Andrzej Wisniewski from Poland for the inside pole position. And it looks like the Rat Man, Anthony Radetic, on the pole position on the outside split. Christoph Agostino on boat number 10. In second place, Rashid Altair, who's in second in the overall points, is actually third on that inside. Yosef Abdul-Razak is going to be fourth in that lineup on the inside. Shang Ki Fong on boat number 59 is going to be fifth. Jorgensen sixth, and Jeremy Perez also going to line up on that inside split right in the middle. Alexander Kabatoff also in that inside split as well. And another Chinese rider, Liang Huanfu, on that inside. Now on the outside, again, Radetic with the pole position. Rasmus Hansen is going to be second in the outside. Third is going to be Andrea Dominguez. Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. I was just double checking that. All right, Andrzej Wisniewski, your multiple Polish champion, has got the pole position on that inside, and Christoph Agostino second. And again, things to remember would be you were going to have Jeremy Perez and also Yusuf Abdul-Razak lined up on that inside split. So that is going to be a hotly contested hole shot. By the way, this is going to be a 15-minute moto, or excuse me, 15-minute qualifier plus 1 lap. I want to thank you all for joining us. You're watching the Hare Grand Prix of Qingdao, China. We've just got through with 2 Moto 1s, the lady ski with Eminelli Ortendahl getting to the top of that one. And Kevin Rutter just took the win on Moto number 1 in the men's ski. And now we are looking to get our way through this qualifier and get into some motos for the Runabout class. We're going to have 2 motos over this weekend for Runabout, 3 for both women's ski and the men's ski. And we still got freestyle to happen as well this weekend for the setup for today. We're going to have free practice for the freestyle right after our runabouts. Not sure if we'll be bringing that to you live or not, so that was my teaser. It'll be a surprise for us both. I want to say a special thanks to our sponsor, Neon Glasses, who's keeping us looking all sly. And also special thanks to our title sponsor, Hare. A huge company out in China. And we are in a beautiful location here this weekend. Qingdao is where we are. It's part of the Shandong province on China's Yellow Sea coast. Qingdao has jurisdiction over 6 districts and 4 county level cities. Their current population is a little over 9 million. By the way, this port is the 2nd largest in China, so you can just get a sense of how big this city is. Now, before we get running, what we're going to do is give these guys an opportunity to practice that start, and this is the first opportunity that the runabouts have had to do that. Start. Shout out to Pale Terregard. saying, go Erasmus. By the way, our points are the tightest in this class of any that you're going to be watching this weekend. Here's the point rundown coming into this third event. Marcus Jorgensen currently in the lead with 71 points. Rashid Altair right there. Only a couple points separate him. He's got 69 points, but he is not alone right now as we come into this third round in Qingdao, China. In fourth place, Jeremy Perez with 65 points. In fifth place is Anton Pankratov with 61. And in sixth place, Samuel Johansen, the young phenom from Sweden. He has 58 points. Yosef Abdulrazak is currently in seventh with 54 points. Shout out to Matthias Peterson, who has also joined us. So the race numbers you want to be thinking of: 7, 5, 25, 86, 76, 4, and 11. And of course, Christoph Agostino is right there as well. He's got 49 points. He's in 8th. Mateo Fracasso is in 9th with 46 points. Johan Johansson in 10th with 45 points. Bring these guys back to the lineup. You can see Anton Pankratov coming back in. Mateo Fracasso also bringing that big number 8 boat back to the line. See that number 13? That is Kylie Elmers making her debut. Not in Runabout racing, mind you, but just this weekend in Runabout. She's going to be testing and sussing a few things out for a pretty exciting announcement for 2020. I'll leave that for now. Of course, Andrea Dominguez also out on the line, another very fast lady racer. Wu Ronghua also lined up on that outside split, boat number 17. Woody is his nickname, a Jet Tribe sponsored rider, and he is a multiple Chinese champion. See Jorgensen chilling like a villain down there also on that inside. So again, you've got Jorgensen, your current points leader, Jeremy Perez, Yosef Abdulrazak, Andres Viz, Royal Rumble. And you can hear the boats starting to warm up as the race director, Marco Petrini, getting ready to get these guys out of the gate. And somebody needed a little realignment here, so they are getting him back, and that's boat number 77. Martin Alhaj from Denmark, just starting this year. Actually, his debut was last year on the UIM. He's only been racing a couple of years, and Marcus Jorgensen actually got him involved in racing Runabout on the UIM Tour, so it's great to have him here. Good start for Mateo Fracasso on that outside. It's just a solid whitewash on the inside split. Man, that is tight coming in. Perez is in that mix. Jeremy Perez setting up for a hole shot. And he nailed it. Nicely done for Jeremy Perez. And it's going to be Hashimi up in second, who had such a fast qualifying time yesterday. In fact, it was Jorgensen followed by Hashimi with fastest times. 2:10 in that practice, and it's Jorgensen up in third. Hashimi in second, and Jeremy Perez with your hole shot. Yosef Abdul-Razak in fourth. Rashid Altair in fifth. Looks like it might be Sam Johansson in that sixth place spot. Great run at the bottom of the screen. You saw Martin Alhaj right in mid-pack with a great one. But again, your recap, Jeremy Perez, he had a good start, but all of them came out of there pretty quickly. Jeremy Perez pulled it right as they got into that top part of the inside split, and he never let go of the hole shot. Now he's got about a 5-second lead between him and second place, which is the gentleman that qualified fastest second, not qualified, but got a fast second time in the practice yesterday at a 2:14 on the clock, and that's Hashimi Isaiah. Hashimi, by the way, a 15-time national champion from Japan. Currently lives just a little bit out of Tokyo. First time we get the opportunity to watch him on the 2019 UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour, and he is looking solid out on the track. Jeremy Perez going to the inside split, riding comfortably. Asked him yesterday, when we took a look at the free practice times, Jeremy was back in 17th. When we got the chance to catch up with him, he said, Dawn, I had no reason to go out there and fire the boat up. I just wanted to maintain a solid practice and keep it laid back. He wasn't the only one that did that. Yosef Abdul-Razak did as well out of that top grouping. Meanwhile, the hunt on between Hashimi Isaiah and Marcus Jorgensen. Here's your times, 3:15.36 for Jeremy Perez, and a 3.2094 for Isaiah, and a 3.2227 for Marcus Jorgensen. Very close between them. Yosef Abdul-Razak fourth with a 3.2495. Taylor in fifth with a 3.3019. Samuel Johansson in sixth with a 3.3212. Andres Wisniewski, who got pinched out just a little bit on that inside split, ends up in seventh place in this first lap with a 3.3854. Alexander Kabatov with a 3.4142 is in eighth. Liang Huan Fu is in ninth place with a 3.4671. Pankratov in 10th. Lorenzo Benalia in 11th. Christoph Agostino in 12th. Brandau in 13th. And that is Jorgensen and Hashimi going at it. And you can see the long shot. Yosef Abdul-Razak up in fourth. Yosef with multiple world titles, currently sitting in an odd position on the UIM-ABP World Championship Tour. He's back in seventh with 54 points. Still has a shot at getting a podium, but man, it's going to be a long haul. He had a 17th and an 18th and a DNF, which is what really killed him in Portimao this year. Came back with double aces in Olbia, redemption on that train in that second stop, and he is in the hunt right now to get a podium this weekend. Meanwhile, Jeremy Perez through that front stretch As 5.5 minutes on the clock, we got a 15-minute plus 1 lap moto. And man, Jorgensen really trying to run down Hashimi Isaiah, the gentleman in second place. And that is where a lot of the pressure is being felt. Now, again, remember, Jorgensen only has a couple of points separating him from that second place spot, and he doesn't know where Rashid Altair is out on the track. He's got 71 points coming into this one. Rashid Altair was set up to really push into a blistering pace when massive drama hit him this weekend. They had been shipping some engines over, and unfortunately they weren't able to get those engines, which often happens, just couldn't get them out of customs. The engines went back to Dubai, but these guys are still in Qingdao, China, and they are currently on borrowed property trying to get some points on the board. That's the drama for Rashid Altair. But this guy's a tough nut and not going to let him get depressed on that. They are pushing hard. He's in 5th place, fast time 2:20.53. Speaking of fast times, the fastest is 2:16.61, and that was this lap with Jeremy Perez. Isaiah with a 2:18.34. Check this out. Jorgensen with a 2:18.46. Less than 10/100ths of a second separating those two riders on the track. All right, there's your update. And meanwhile, on the qualifier, we've got Yosef Abdul Razak in 4th. And already I see the tow ropes are getting put to use. And this time it is, unfortunately, boat number 59, one of the Chinese riders, Shang Shi Feng, on boat number 59, unfortunately getting towed back in. Here's a cool shot of our skyline. Just barely get to see the city of Qingdao off in the distance. And speaking of off in the distance, I see a rider with a hand up, and that is oh my gosh, it's Jeremy Perez, who went down in his qualifier. Wow, that's a shock. So Jeremy Perez, he had a 1-2 finish in Portimao, and then a DNF, and a 4th place finish in Olbia. And man, you can just see, not a happy camper. Your defending world champion with 156 points going into that final round last year. Oh, man, tough break for Jeremy Perez. Well, we'll see what happened. 8:43 on the clock. That's a 15-minute plus 1 lap moto. All right, well, that shakes it up a little bit more. No points, obviously, for the qualifier, but it is a good boost to the ego when you can win it, and right now that is what Hashimi is trying to do, our Japanese rider and multiple national champion. He came into that lap with a 2:18.34, Jorgensen with a 2:18.46. Now Abdul Razak now up in 3rd with a 2:17.56, and Rashid Altair in 4th with a 2:20.53. And I gotta say, this rider from Sweden, Sam Johansson, has looked just awesome. He's in that 5th place spot. And there's Marcus Jorgensen. And you can see another rider with a tow rope. This is Jorgensen's first chance at a UIM-ABP world title, and he is stoked to be here. Ten minutes up as Jorgensen hits the front stretch. And he got around Hashimi in that split section. You know, one thing I got to say about Yosef Abdul Razak, He is one of the smartest riders I've ever seen. He plays a very quiet game out there, and you really sort of have to watch for it sometimes between him and Jeremy Perez, the strategy. Now, I talked about him getting up into that top fifth, but in this lap, as they saw on the front stretch, he was within strike distance already of Hashimi Isaiah for that second place spot. And another victim, unfortunately, of engine paralysis is boat number 2, and that's Alexander Kabatoff, having to come back in on a tow rope. The gentleman that you saw at the top of that screen on that prior lap. Jorgensen just taking a quick look back to see where Hashimi is. Now, Jorgensen had a 6-7 finish in Portimao and a 3-2 finish in Olbia, but it's all about consistency in the runabout racing, well, that and finishing. You've got to get the points on the board. All of that adds up to 71 points, and that's what's got him here. His best in 2018 was a third-place finish in Gallipoli in Moto number 2. Wants to keep that boat together. He's got a Nico working with him underneath the hood, and hoping to bring another rider, or excuse me, another mechanic out for the Sharjah finale that's going to be happening a few months from now. Jan Jensen, I miss you. I see that Kinberg Stephanie is shouting out, "Go Marcus." Molly Fern has joined us. Molly, aren't you supposed to be on the water right now? Just saying. Terry Lemons also signed on to the feed. Christofferson has joined us. See, Lisa Barsby's also jumped up on the live feed. Great to have you. And Jan Jensen cheering on Rasmus Koch. By the way, Rasmus currently is in 15th. Fastest time was a 2:32.57. Jacek Wazaleski is on the live stream, sure cheering on Andres Wisniewski. Sam Barnett's here. And Tony Curry has also joined us on the live stream. You're watching the action from Hare Grand Prix of Qingdao, China. This is our qualifier for the runabouts, our first opportunity to watch these guys shooting it out. And we have 13.22 minutes on the clock. Fastest time, Marcus Jorgensen with a 2:18.30. Got around Isaiah on that last lap. Hashimi with a 2:18.34. Less than 4/100ths of a second separating those two. Abdul Razak in third with a check this out, 2:17.56 for his fastest time. Altair up in fourth. His fast time with a 2:20.53 on OPP, other people's property. And then boat number 4, that's Samuel Johansson in 5th place with a 2:19.87. Andreas Wisniewski has not gone out of this hunt. He is in 6th with a 2:23.61. Pankratov is in 7th with a 2:29.32. And there's your points leader, boat number 7, Marcus Jorgensen. You can see the track laid out fairly far out there. We are working with about 3 meters of water for the tide at high tide. By the time we get to Sunday, we're looking at about 3.5 meters for high tide for these runabouts. Not a lot of water to work with. You could tell earlier when one of the riders went off on that front stretch, he was able to stand up. But plenty to race as the white flag comes up for Marcus Jorgensen. Hashimi Isaiah still trying to get a tow hook on Marcus. And Yosef Abdul Razak comes across in third. We got 15.18 seconds on the line, or excuse me, on the clock. Bogdan Binko saying, go, go, Marcus. You know, he's gotten a lot of titles, Jorgensen, over the past 5 years, but this has been the one title that has eluded him up until this year. And I think it even surprised him coming out of that second Moto in Olbia, how close he was to get the lead. And it was the third Moto in Olbia that locked it down for him. So as he comes into Qingdao, China, he's actually got what I would not call a comfortable lead. At least he's got a couple of points separating him and the rest of the pack. He's got 71. Rashid Altair with 69. And Andres Wisniewski also with 69. So the tie for second place, Jeremy right there with 65 points. So again, this could be any man's win. And you're watching the qualifier today, and I can only imagine that Jorgensen is just thinking, if only qualifiers had points, I would be rocking this. White flag is out. And we had a rider off his boat, off of that double red, but he is back aboard. That was boat number 27 that was able to get back going. Lino Arahu able to get back aboard the boat. Jorgensen with a 2:18.30, and we are under a white flag. Checker flag comes up for Marcus Jorgensen and Hashimi Isaiah. Wow. Just like that. Ooh. All right, so this is going to set the stage for tomorrow's 25-minute moto. That'll be the first moto that you're going to watch tomorrow from the Runabout GP1 class. And look at Yosef Abdul-Razak. Cool as a cucumber, man. He comes across in third. 2:17.56. That was your fastest time on the track today. Laid down by boat number 11, Yosef Abdul-Razak. Hadn't had that 17 and 18 finish in Portimao, he'd be right where he normally gets to play. Four-time world champion, 2013 and 2017, and right now he's just hunting to get back up on a podium. Meanwhile, the gentleman that is the man of the hour, boat number 7, Marcus Jorgensen, 71 points. And a hot finish this afternoon in that qualifying session, and that's going to put him with a lot of confidence going into moto number 1 tomorrow. Meanwhile, speaking of confidence and lack thereof, Jeremy Perez, while the rest of these guys were coming across the checker, Jeremy unfortunately had to take a run back up to the pits and get his boat worked on. So he is going to have a bit more drama as they get ready for moto number 1 tomorrow. That's going to be a tough one for our defending world champion. Safe to say, just because you've been the defending world champion on the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship Tour doesn't mean that you're guaranteed anything, because that's 2 world championships that now have their titles under fire. Both Krista Uzar, who was out with that injury, and now Jeremy Perez, who finds himself in the odd position of being 4th coming into moto number 1 tomorrow. That's your recap as we just finish up with our riders. Here's a rundown. Jorgensen with the win. Isaiah 2nd, Abdul-Razak 3rd, Samuel Johansson in 4th, Andres Wisniewski 5th, Rashid Altair in 6th, Pankratov in 7th, Agostino in 8th, Benalia in 9th, Johansson in 10th. And since you guys are watching, Rasmus, by the way, was in 15th. Wu Rongwa, by the way, in 16th. Kylie Elmers, right in mid-pack, she's in 17th. All right, you guys, well, due to the high tides and the fact that we have to deal with these tide situations, we are going to make this a 4-day event. We're super excited. We will see you tomorrow for Moto number 2 in the ski class, Moto 2 in ladies, and
Moto #1 and Runabout GP1. We'll also have freestyle tomorrow. I'm Dawn Dawson. On behalf of all of the crew, we will see you tomorrow right here in Qingdao, China for the Hair Grand Prix of Qingdao, China. Have a great afternoon.